we reported the previous week. I am Udwakobol Achibo. In the course of the week in focus, the visiting Emir of Kano, Alhaji Ado Bayero, was honored with various performances showcasing the rich cultural values of the Benin Kingdom. Among them was the command performance by the Royal Court and the famous Ijani Yesige dance drama that portrayed the renewed warrior and the first queen of ancient Benin Kingdom.
The colorful event at the Benin Cultural Center was part of a reception for the visiting Emir of Kano and his entourage. Guests and members of the Benin Traditional Council were seated for the grand performance with various theater troupes on hand to give the Emir a superlative performance. The arrival of Benin monarch and his guests, accompanied by the three queens, kick-started the night. The first performance was from a Nupe dance troupe that thrilled the audience with its mystical dance move. Came the turn of the Benin Cultural Troupe, commissioned by the Benin monarch to reflect on the life and times of Queen Idia. The Benin monarch and the Emir of Kano, while speaking on the performance of artists, urged Nigerians to see the traditional institution as the best instrument to maintain peace.
Our tradition, our traditional values, our norms and values, respect for tradition, respect for elders, respect for the elders, and also the elders' respect for youth. Respect for nurturing youth have been very helpful in keeping our tradition together.
But this is the first time I'm seeing, like I say, the undiluted culture and tradition of the Benin Kingdom.
Earlier, the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewayo II, and the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Ado Bayero, took time out from the busy schedule to visit Ogba Zoo to see the rich wildlife habitat within the sanctuary.
In the course of the week in focus, PDP supporters in Edo State marched along the streets of Benin, the Edo State capital, in a solidarity walk in support of Governor Godwin Obaseke's victory at the Supreme Court. Governor Obaseke, while addressing them, said the judgment is victory for the people of Edo State and Nigeria's democracy.
The supporters defied the early morning rains to receive the governor and marched from the Benin airport through the ring road down to the municipal council. Governor Godwin Obaseki, while addressing the people, assured them that the mandate given him to serve is intact and promised to deliver on his electioneering promises.
We turn Canada to this victory that we have owned. My God owned and I have owned. This victory when God don't give us. God will give us. Now for them to take and walk what they pay as tax than to work for the people.
The victory walk organized by the PDP is coming 4 days after the Supreme Court dismissed the APC forgery suit against the governor.
Meanwhile, the APC governorship candidate in the 2020 Edo governorship election, Pastor Sagi Izeyamu, in the course of the week in focus, congratulated Governor Godwin Obaseki following Supreme Court judgment which upheld his election victory. Pastor Izeyamu, who congratulated the governor through a letter, spoke to NTA on the development.
Rising from a closed-door stakeholders meeting at the party's secretariat in Benin City, Pastor Ize Iyamu disclosed that with the election matters now concluded at the courts, he can now congratulate the governor on his victory.
In every contest, you have a winner, you have a loser. I should have done that since, but considering the fact that my party had a election matter against him, and he also had a series of matters against us, it was a bit premature to have done so. But of course, you know that on Friday, the Supreme Court finally handled the last case. And, you know, the cases are all over. Haven't done so. The honorable thing to do is to congratulate him.
While expressing his willingness to support the governor with innovative ideas that will move the state forward, the APC candidate also wished his administration well.
Anybody that wishes the state well will be ready to give advice and give support. So if the governor wants any advice, of course we'll be there. You know, even if he doesn't want it, we'll continue to give advice because we belong to this state.
He equally described the governor's victory at the court as the will of God.
And talking about the activities of the state government in the course of the week in focus, Edo state government flagged off the second dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine with a call on citizens who took the first dose to avail themselves of the opportunity and get full protection against the virus. The exercise was at the State Secretariat's complex along Sapele Road.
Nigerians are gradually returning to the normal way of living after the intense heat created by the high wave of coronavirus infections. Governor Obaseki believes that with the commencement of the second dose of the vaccine, which 38,500 people had taken in the first phase and first dose of the vaccination exercise in the state, there are brighter days ahead. He allayed fears surrounding the vaccine.
Our goal is to ensure that we get herd immunity by vaccinating over up to 70% of our population. For those who haven't vaccinated yet, it is important that we do. I've just come back from a trip, and by the end of June, it will be almost impossible to travel in the world without a vaccination certificate, a COVID-19 vaccination certificate.
The governor thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for the support and role he has played both in the state and country in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Let me at this point thank our President Buhari, for the support he has given us so far in our efforts to get rid of this deadly virus.
Representative of the World Health Organization, Dr. Alphonsus Aigbere Morin, says the COVID-19 vaccine is safe for all and encouraged the people to come out for the second phase, as only the first dose is not enough. The second dose of the vaccination, known as booster dose, will last for 40 days. It is expected to be rolled out in phases.
In another engagement of the state government in the course of the week in focus, the Edo state government urged activists in the state and the country in general to be honest in the manner they play activism irrespective of those involved. Governor Godwin Obaseki was speaking when he met with members of the civil societies and labor unions at a stakeholders engagement of the State Transition Committee in Benin.
At a time Nigeria is facing the pain of insecurity and economic downturn, Governor Obaseki wonders why things have continued to degenerate when civil society groups have the responsibility of promoting democracy and good governance. The governor, through the Transition Committee, is meeting with stakeholders to provide solutions to socio-economic challenges in the state. The stakeholders want the state government to address issues dealing with urban slum, engage in e-revenue to help block loopholes in revenue collection, among others.
There's a lot of leakages. Allocation from federal is no longer like that. And we advise the state government to go on e-revenue.
So how do you bridge Upper Sakumba and GRA? Please put some funds to take that broadband to Upper Sakumba.
In response, Governor Basaki says in few weeks, his administration will introduce an e-citizen card that will be linked to the national identity card, as well as create a local market for electricity in the states.
So in the next few weeks, you will see what will happen, right? Nobody is going to, nobody's going to collect a dime from anybody, because we are going to give each one of you an Edo State citizen ID card, which is linked to your national identity card. And that has a chip. So if anybody sees you bring it out, and it's an electronic wallet, you pay your fine. And we know the account you're going to. We're coming up with our own laws, which will run by you next week, in fact, this week or next week, to show you how we want to create our own local electricity market. I have 1,000 megawatts of power here. Meanwhile, we're in darkness. Not because people are not ready to pay, but because of this crazy system and structures which have been imposed on us. Now we have seen a very brilliant way of disentangling it, and we're going ahead to do so.
This is the first of a series of engagement with these set of stakeholders.
Meanwhile, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, in the course of the week in focus, appointed Iyowa Osagbo-Tony as Chief of Staff. A statement by the Secretary to the State Government, Osarodon Ogie, said Mr. Iyoha served as the immediate past Special Advisor to the Governor on Political Matters, was a member of the Edo State House of Assembly representing Oredo East constituency from 2015 to 2019, where he attained the position of the Chief Whip. Iyowa Osagbo-Tony was born on 6th of July 1973. He holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Ambosani University, formerly Edo State University, Ekoma, and a master's degree in industrial engineering from the University of Benin. We now take a break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
You can always watch our news live at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Also, watch Midweek Connect at 9 a.m. every Wednesday, and our other programs such as Health Plus, Schools Debate, Praise Vibes, and Events and Style on our YouTube channel, NTA Benin. Please do not forget to subscribe and leave a comment.
Many thanks for staying tuned. You're still watching 7 Days. In the course of the week in focus, a 3-member committee was set up by the PDP Edo State to investigate allegations leveled against its chairman, Dr. Tony Azebemi. The publicity secretary of the party, Chris Nedihare, and the deputy state chairman, Harrison Omagbon, who was appointed as acting chairman of the party, spoke to a correspondent in an exclusive interview.
The news of the latest development broke this Wednesday morning in the media, stating that the changes are products of a state working committee meeting held at the state party secretariat on Tuesday, 1st June 2021, where 2/3 majority of members resolved in a motion that the state chairman, Dr. Tony Azegbemi, should step aside and therefore suspended from his position, and Harrison Omagbon, the state deputy chairman, will act in his place until the determination of the allegations leveled against him, which among others include gross misconduct.
What has happened is that we had some allegations against the party chairman, and the working committee decided to ask him to step aside while the committee was set up to investigate the issues. That's all. It's business as usual, just that there's an active chairman, and the chairman, which you know, Dr. Azegbeni, has stepped aside. An active chairman will take charge for at least the next 7 days while the investigation is going on.
Okay, is this stepping aside or suspension?
Stepping aside, suspension, 6.5 dozen, same thing.
The state has been sort of turmoil politically in the past few weeks, and this was as a result of information the chairman gave to the working committee that caused us to write a letter to the national body of the party. And that letter didn't go down well with government and many of our brothers who came in with the governor to the party. Well, to us in PDP, the members of State Working Committee, our intention was not to cause any friction or rancor in the party or to offend anybody. But in the aftermath of the whole event, we found out that the information was very misleading and it did not in any way represent facts of the matters that were discussed in that meeting. And there are so many other issues that are contrary or that are total violation of the constitution of our party. So these allegations were presented to Tony Azegbemi, and he agreed to setting up of a 3-man committee who I'm sure has invited him to state his own part of the matter. And after that, the committee will make its recommendation, and if he is found guilty, all necessary disciplinary actions will be implemented.
They reveal also that an investigative committee has been set up, headed by the state's legal advisor, Arthur Esene. It is to report back to the working committee within 1 week. Efforts to get reaction from Dr. Azegbemi were unsuccessful, as calls and messages to him were not responded to at the time of filing these reports.
Also happening in the week under review, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Operation Restore Peace in the South Zone, Moses Yitobo, inaugurated the Edo State chapter of the outfit, calling on all stakeholders to assist the police in crime prevention in the state and the zone.
The arrival of DIG Jitobo in company of the AIG Zone 5, AIG Akimoyode, set the tone for the commencement of the meeting. In attendance were stakeholders made up of the traditional institutions, religious bodies, civil society organizations, and officials of the market women associations. Jitobo described the inauguration of the outfit as appropriate, considering increasing activities of agents of destabilization and promoters of tension. He revealed that they are currently holding secret meetings in some parts of the state and urged residents to report any suspicious activities in their areas to the police.
So we have come to restore that broken peace. Nigeria will not break. We have so many in common that will make us break. We have so much in common that will make us stronger. That is why we have come to preach that word of peace. I'm not going to preach, but to actualize it. That there must be peace in the country, there must be peace in this region. And so far in the South, we have been peaceful.
Although these stakeholders commended the police for improved security situation in Edo, the issue of proper funding of the police, profiling of the vigilantes were brought up for discussion.
I would want where the relationship between the police and the stakeholders will be more cordial, so that they will feel free to divulge information that will be useful for their operations.
In pursuance of security, federal government, state government, please give vehicles to our police. We need it so that they can police us better.
Proper documentation, proper profiling of these members of the vigilante. But don't forget, it's a new development and we are fine-tuning it. A lot is going on, a lot of write-ups, a lot of planning is going on that we cannot put in the air at this stage. But when they begin to manifest, everybody will see it.
The DIG also met with officers and men of the command behind closed doors.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, Edo State, in the course of the week in focus, encouraged stakeholders like NTA Benin Network Center to promote the use of bicycle as it still remains an effective means of transportation, especially in rural communities. This was in commemoration of the 2021 World Bicycle Day.
The United Nations General Assembly designated June 3rd as World Bicycle Day as part of steps to promote healthy living among member countries through the adoption of non-motorized transportation. The Federal Road Safety Corps, in line with its goal of reducing road traffic crashes by 15% and fatality by 20%, is supporting cycling as a means of transportation in celebration of the day. Sector Commander Erin Benamesia, during the visit to NTA, says it is to encourage stakeholders to promote the use of bicycles to enhance the physical development of children, fitness for adults, and a healthy living lifestyle.
What we are doing today is to create awareness, to bring back bicycle to our street, on our road, so that people will give consideration to cyclists. They will not say just you, this ordinary cyclist. So that's what we've been trying to do. It's going to be cascaded to almost all our programs, both on the television, both on the radio, so that people will be aware. You know, if you are riding bicycle, if you ride bicycle at least 30 minutes a day, the health benefit is enormous.
Today is a day that everybody to be on bike. If you can ride for 30 minutes, you know you are fit. That one can check your BP, whatever.
The team also visited the Federal Secretariat at Duawa en route to the State Command Headquarters.
In the course of the weekend focus, sons of the legal luminary Sir Alfred Ebubame took practical steps to redefine leadership in the country through a symposium that brought both leaders and the led to brainstorm for a better Nigeria. It was the first Alfred Ebubame leadership series 1 year after his death. Former President Goodluck Jonathan was part of the event.
Emergence of credible leaders at local, state and national levels, key players believe, will solve problems that have festered in the country for years. This symposium is therefore to reawaken the consciousness of all Nigerians to begin to do things differently to change the fortunes of the nation. Former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan chaired the first session, Leadership Vacuum. Too many activists, very few reformers, virtually.
I'm told the children of the family that I believe is so very remarkable because they were impressed by my decision to hand over power to my successor in a very peaceful manner. The decision was not a difficult one for me to make because of my belief in building a culture of peace, unity, sustainable democracy, and its impacts in the development of our nation. That leadership requires some level of sacrifice.
Bishop, Catholic Diocese of Sokoto, Bishop Matthew Kuka, via Zoom, harped on the need to elect leaders that are sensitive to the happenings in the environment.
That the leader is always in front, identifying, because he already has an idea where this journey is going to terminate.
For panelists, citizens must play their part by deciding to stand against all odds in the society, including selfish gains. The interactive session featured questions and answers on the role of leaders and the led in building a better country.
There are a lot of all issues that we need to resolve for leadership. Because leadership is about being ahead and having vision that will help to galvanize and develop the entire community and the vast majority of people.
So children have satisfied me. God has blessed me. They are doing well.
Children of the late legal luminary said all their father worked for was a better society.
He questioned every time he wrote a letter to a public authority and there was no response to that letter. He questioned every time there was a failure to be diligent in work. He would question a public officer and he had a right to see that public officer because you were a servant to the people. So all those qualities that you require for us to take this country to a different level are absent. My father represented it at home.
His word is his bond. When you sow a seed, it grows. And I think those values will continue growing. He's done his part and we are carrying on.
He fought for, the oppressed. For him, that's leadership. Even at home, my dad will not just talk, but it's talk and action. He matches both. He doesn't even waste time.
The leadership series coincided with the 50th birthday anniversary of the second son of the late legal luminary, Efe Ebubame.
And that's it on 7 days. Many thanks for watching. Join us again next week for another edition. Until then, do have a wonderful week ahead of you. Good morning.